February 1st, 2024. Joint victory. Ukraine hails EU deal on $54 billion aid package. Biden names Elmo new press secretary. Deadly drone attack caught Iran by surprise, officials say. Secret recording. Black candidate can't win in Texas. Trump has racked up nearly $40 million in legal fees since his first indictment. Trump sticks it to small donors. U.S. F-16 sailed to Turkey and not subject to any conditions. Hidden camera. Top Biden White House security official admits Sleep Joe has dementia. Researchers fault climate change for 4 million deaths since 2000. Takeaways from the 2024 cash dash. Legal cases drain Trump as Biden builds reserves. Big gig trouble. Breaking the law and barely surviving. Inside NYC's cash-based migrant economy wreaking havoc on city revenue. Report says DA Fani Willis fired a whistleblower who informed her about the intentional misuse of federal funds, and there's audio of their conversation. Syphilis cases rise to their highest levels since the 1950s, CDC says. Bud Light partners with comedian Shane Gillis to appeal to conservatives again. Inside Trump's costly outburst. Like an 8-year-old having a temper tantrum. Farmers' anger spreads in Europe and governments promise help. Corruption scandal in Ukraine sparks outrage in U.S. Congress. Chicken Littles are ruining America. These business leaders secretly funded New York Mayor Eric Adams's re-election effort, donors say. Riskier mortgages make up more than 20% of portfolios, with expert warning we're close to the tipping point. Capitol Police decides it's not a crime to film a sex tape in the Senate. The celebs setting fire to the planet. The chances that Trump will be a convicted felon by Election Day have dropped. On the high seas, a pillar of global trade is under attack. Biden is drowning in 3 disasters of his own making. Precision equipment for Russian arms makers came from U.S. ally Taiwan. February 2nd, 2024. Thousands marched against the German far right. Pro-Palestine protesters say they weren't welcome. Schumer to jam Senate with immigration deal still hidden from public. Uniparty moves on immigration giveaway. Tens of billions in Ukraine funding. Former CIA software engineers sentenced to 40 years for espionage and child porn. Eastbound and down. Biden finally visits East Palestine to avoid campaign derailment. Pennsylvania man accused of beheading his father went from being named class clown twice in high school to threatening to sue any girl who brags about sleeping with me at Penn State after psychedelic drugs destroyed his brain. Turkish police nab 7 over selling intel to Mossad. Illegals freed after beating NYPD officers flip off Americans upon release. Deadly cocktail. Chiefs fans found frozen to death had cocaine, THC, and 3 times lethal amount of fentanyl in their systems. Why Jack Smith's trial date for Donald Trump case has been delayed. Watch what happened when a raccoon single-handedly knocked out the power to much of downtown Toronto last night. Here's why conspiracy theories about Taylor Swift and the Super Bowl are spreading. Republican senators who walked out of Oregon legislature can't seek re-election, state Supreme Court rules. U.S. clears potential drone sale to India amid murder plot claims. Chinese officials in flurry of visits to PLA command to support war plans. The new Luddites aren't backing down. Who's destroying a deal on the border? That would be Democrats in disarray. Hiring accelerated with 353,000 jobs added last month. Biden isn't following the Obama playbook, and it's making some of his own party nervous. February 3, 2024. Overshadow Gaza crimes. World reacts to U.S. attacks on Iraq and Syria. Elmo radicalized after migrants bust to Sesame Street. Fani Willis admits relationship with top Trump prosecutor. Jim Jordan subpoenas Fulton County DA. Radical and far left. Swing state election law may enable non-citizens to vote in 2024 presidential election, experts warn. A taste of what's to come. U.S. kills 34 Iran-backed militants as pictures show aftermath of Biden's revenge strike that saw 125 missiles dropped on 85 targets in Iraq and Syria in just 30 minutes. Ronna McDaniel calls for Republican unity amid cash crunch. Erdogan set to host Putin and meet Egypt's El-Sisi, reports say. Eagle Pass officials increase security and restrict media access after FBI warns of potential terror attack. Vinyl chloride industry keeps expanding despite East Palestine disaster. Iraq and Syria warn of dangerous consequences following U.S. strikes. Joe Biden faces Republican wrath for anemic Iran response. RIP. Carl Weathers, famous for roles in Rocky, Predator, and The Mandalorian, passes away at 76. Trump says AI most dangerous thing out there. Central bank buying spree driving demand for gold. China keeps close eye on Philippine supply mission to second Thomas Shoal. Downfall of Mossad spying network. Regular families will never again be able to buy a house in Toronto, but we can still fix the housing crisis. Here's how. Biden economic advisor tries to defend Bidenomics and fails miserably. Are you catastrophizing? Here's how to stop assuming the worst. White House refuses to allow former COVID-19 advisor to testify before Congress. February 4, 2024. U.S. and U.K. hit 36 Houthi targets in Yemen amid Gaza war spillover fears. Biden's team bracing for special counsel's report on classified docs. Evacuation orders issued in California as atmospheric river moves in. Nikki Haley crashes SNL cold open to confront Trump. NYC launches $53 million program to issue prepaid credit cards to illegal migrant families. Los Angeles smog woes worsen as United States EPA threatens to reject local pollution plan. Wannabe rapper arrested after XL bullies mauls his mom-in-law to death. She's axed again. Nutty NYC professor that held machete to post reporter's neck fired from Cooper Union over anti-Israel rants. The moon is apparently, shrinking. Man confesses to keeping drug dealer's head in fridge for 2 years in exchange for a cigarette. Forget no labels. Biden's third-party peril is on the left. U.S. intends further strikes on Iran-backed groups, National Security Advisor says. Suspected Chinese spy pigeon freed. Russia and China compare notes on military use of artificial intelligence. Democrat governor offered to help Joe Biden with the border, but the president refused. U.S. needs more renewable energy. Local governments often ban it. The U.S. economy is booming. So why are tech companies laying off workers? February 5, 2024. U.S. warns of further retaliation if Iran-backed militias continue their attacks. Kurdish forces say 6 fighters killed in drone strike on U.S. base in Syria. Here's how 2 sentences in the Constitution rose from obscurity to ensnare Donald Trump. Republicans announced they have made concessions on immigration deal in exchange for these really cool magic beans. Mike Lee says Senate GOP needs new leadership now. Border bill disqualifying betrayal. Unmitigated disaster. Botched. Feels like an elaborate practical joke. Dead on arrival. Border bill deemed worse than expected as most of $118 billion price tag goes to Ukraine and Israel. Biden warns of a nightmare future for the country if Trump should win again. Chinese military studying cognitive attacks against U.S. population. RAF Typhoon fighter jets scrambled to escort plane landing at Manchester Airport. How Hollywood learned to eat the rich. Donald Trump is the only reason Jim Jordan is subpoenaing Fani Willis. Mudslides, rescues and power outages follow record rainfall in California. Californians face devastating insurance hikes. Killer Mike wins 3 rap Grammys, then gets hauled away by police. Man charged after allegedly posing as minor to lure and kill convicted sex offender. Russian drone production soaring, says official. Abortion rights groups don't want to restore Roe, but they won't fight Biden on it. Big tech stocks have little room for error after monster run. February 6, 2024. Chris Christie predicts huge personnel problem if Trump is re-elected. Nevada will hold presidential primaries and caucuses, creating voter confusion, but little suspense. New Senate anti-murder bill caps murders at 5,000 per day. Mitch McConnell turns against border bill. Swamp consumes itself. Open borders plan dies in Senate. GOP negotiators turn against bill. Langford likely to vote no on his own bill. Country music singer Toby Keith passed away 62, surrounded by his family after 3-year battle with stomach cancer weeks after saying he was finally comfortable with whatever happened. Russia and China accused U.S. of stoking Mideast tensions. Replacements. The number of people pouring over the southern border each year now exceeds U.S. birth count. Northwestern students face criminal charges for pro-Palestine college newspaper parody. Newsom to send 120 California Highway Patrol officers to fight crime in Oakland. The thirst is real. Republicans are lining up their lies to be Trump's VP pick. Donald Trump's second cabinet. New York court denies parental rights to dad who didn't want 8-year-old son to be on puberty blockers. A new purple tomato is available to gardeners. Its color comes from Snapdragon DNA. 5 NHL players charged for sexual assault after new evidence emerges. Ukraine's top general sparing neo-Nazis from frontline slaughter, says ex-CIA analyst. China, Russia, and Iran to hold drills as Middle East tensions flare, says Admiral. DeSantis takes a stand against fake meat. Scientists are now close to finding a mysterious planet that explains strange cosmic phenomena, study reports. Mattis secretly advised Arab monarch on Yemen war records show. February 7, 2024. None of these candidates win Nevada in a blowout to defeat Haley. New besties Tucker and Putin seen riding bear through Moscow while chugging vodka. U.S. commercial real estate contagion is moving to Europe. I feel like I'm betraying my country. I'm not. I love America. Tucker Carlson defends heaping praise on Russia, as Kremlin confirms ex-Fox News host has already interviewed Putin. No scientific basis. Biden ignores economic warnings and cracks down on manufacturing in new climate rules. Gaslighting. Biden claims only reason border not secure is Donald Trump. Forecasters said LA would get monster storm. It was even worse than expected in some areas. Rishi makes trans joke during PMQs while Brianna Gay's mom was in Parliament. For first time in 20 years, U.S. buys more from Mexico than China. Tucker Carlson could face sanctions over Putin interview. Gina Carano suing Disney and Lucasfilm over Mandalorian firing in lawsuit funded by Elon Musk. Hamas proposes 135-day Gaza truce with complete Israeli withdrawal. Words that kill. How Western spin doctors dehumanize select peoples to justify war. China promises heavy price for blocking reunification as U.S. and Japan hold drills. America's favorite cookie takes a hard left turn. Trump might be convicted in D.C. just days before the election. Senators race to save Ukraine aid as border deal fails. I'm sorry. Biden apologizes after appearing to forget name of Hamas during speech. February 8, 2024. Journalist confused by journalist doing journalism. Epstein contacted Staley for years at Barclays using go-between, court filings claim. 5 missing Marines found dead after helicopter crash in California. Ghostly gaffe. Biden claims he spoke with German leader at campaign event who died in 2017. Netanyahu's refrain of fighting Hamas until total victory is a fantasy. Biden alarm. Trump an existential threat. NBC News runs hit piece on libs of TikTok claiming posts linked to bomb threats. Prosecutors drop charges against Northwestern students for pro-Palestine school paper parody. The unloved LA River just prevented a flood disaster. Can more of its water be saved? Conspiracy theorist attacked by judge for making up lies about terror attack. Tonight, Republicans will conduct their dream election. One where hardly anyone can vote. Getaway from hell. Two moms say they were drugged and raped by Bahamas resort staffers. Crews never told them about travel warning until after assault. Ukraine worries about losing its biggest weapon. U.S. military aid. Y'all stop buying McDonald's because it got so expensive, so the CEO says affordability is going to be a priority now. Man arrested and facing charges after climbing sphere in Las Vegas. Super Bowl romance. Are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce really an election year psyop? Trump's ballot argument posits that Jefferson Davis wasn't an insurrectionist either. We've weathered many storms. Xi Jinping and Putin vow deeper ties in Lunar New Year call. Welcome back to the chaos of the Trump era. YouTube profited from Andrew Tate recruitment videos despite banning them. How the Rockefellers and billionaire donors pressed Biden on LNG exports. Biden's shockingly weak and disingenuous speech displayed yet further mental decline. Supreme Court to confront Trump eligibility question, charting course of election. February 9, 2024. Israeli sniper kills 21 Palestinians near Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. GOP calls to invoke 25th Amendment after special counsel casts doubt on Biden's mental acuity. This man has the nuclear codes. Evangelicals' Trump worship looks more like QAnon every day. Like interviewing Hitler without asking about the concentration camps. Andrew Neil says Tucker Carlson's Putin stunt confirmed the Russian president is mad, bad, and dangerous, and Fox's former darling is a fool. Supreme Court Justice Jackson caught lying about Trump in open court. Meta considered increased censorship of the word Zionist. Commander enraged. Enraged Biden lashes out at reporters and special counsel after scathing classified docs report. I know what the hell I'm doing. They put AI in charge of foreign policy scenarios, and the AI opted to use nukes really fast to have peace in the world. Climate scientist Michael Mann wins defamation case against conservative writers. It's devastating. Trump seizes unmatched control over GOP. Biden claims his memory is fine, calls Egypt's Sisi president of Mexico. Supreme Court ignores details of January 6th and Trump's role in it. The Validation Brigade salutes Trump. Vladimir Putin. Russian president tells Tucker Carlson U.S. needs to stop supplying weapons to Ukraine. Did you catch Joe Biden's massive lie about the special counsel report? Kamala Harris put in political hot seat with damning Biden memory report. February 10, 2024. Saturn's moon Mimas may have vast, hidden ocean. 4D chess. Trump forces judge to grant full immunity after he speaks gibberish and shakes hands with the air. America last. 12 Senate Republicans vote to send Ukraine another $60 billion after vowing to put U.S. border first. Trump's GOP doctrine is obey or be crushed. Biden, 81, plans to make AG Merrick Garland fall guy for special counsel report that branded him senile as aide releases panicked statement, and insiders claim more makeup could solve age issue. Zombies in the hills. How Oregon's liberal approach to drugs has brought misery to conservative rural counties. Here we go again. Uproar. Fed meddling in another pres election? Kamala Harris slams special counsel. Politically motivated, gratuitous, inaccurate. Ex-prosecutor rips entirely inappropriate attack. Michael Rappaport admits he was duped by MSM's very fine people Trump hoax. Los Angeles hotel's homeless residents forced school to shut down, lawsuit says. Climate change caused the storms. Our failing infrastructure made them lethal. Could Democrats replace Biden as their nominee? How old is too old to be president? An uncomfortable question arises again. These activists are doing a die-in at Florida's DMVs because Ron DeSantis won't let them put their gender identities on driver's licenses. 15-year-old illegal migrant arrested after Times Square shooting. Scientists complete 13-year study on cats' sex lives. The year of the long? China's dragons are not the West's giant reptiles. Hawaii. State rules against public carrying of guns without permit citing Aloha spirit. Robert Malone warns that outlets are trying to suppress toxicity risks from mRNA vaccines. UK government secretly shuts down NHS Pride program. Biden has more than an age problem. Voters don't see him as presidential. What's behind Trump's Bud Light rehabilitation effort? How Justice Department special counsel policies let her critique Biden's memory. February 11, 2024. World leaders who clashed with Trump brace for an awkward reunion. Biden recounts time he parted the Red Sea to escape slavery in Mexico. Pinkerton says if Biden can't win in 2024, maybe AI can win for him. Will Bill Gates' Microsoft tech totalitarianism succeed? Damage control. Dems are quietly telling Team Biden he has to be out in public more after special counsel report. The week Biden lost the New York Times. Liberal paper's editorial board unleashes astonishing broadside warning of the dark moment as it runs back-to-back Sunday opinion pieces, knifing the ailing president after damning DOJ report on his infirmity. Why Disney's $1.5 billion stake in Epic Games is a smart play. Dream or nightmare? Fears grow as Dems shift right on immigration. Global economic war is coming and the threat to the US dollar is real. First Lady fumes. Jill Biden defends Joe, suggests special counsel tried to score political points using son's death. How the hell dare he? Donald Trump poised to be first Republican to win popular vote in 20 years. Canterbury Cathedral, the most historic church in England and one of the most historic on earth, held a silent disco rave over the weekend. Nuclear weapons and poison pills. Washington and Beijing warily circle AI talks. Donald Trump. Former president says he would encourage Russia to attack NATO allies who pay too little. Denver Democrat accuses Trump of wanting to accelerate the border crisis. Donald Trump threatens NATO, says he might encourage Russian attack. Taylor Swift, the NFL, and two routes to cultural dominance. February 12, 2024. A woman opened fire at one of the largest megachurches in the U.S. Her motive is still unclear. IDF rescues two Israeli hostages in Rafah after Biden warned Israel not to go there. Democrats have to stop living in denial about Biden's age. Migrant maelstrom. There's been over 1.5 million migrant encounters at the border since Mayorkas last said it was secure. We are the champions. Travis Kelce leads Chiefs teammates in Super Bowl celebrations after passionately kissing girlfriend Taylor Swift following thrilling 25-22 victory over 49ers, and shakes off that shove on coach Andy Reid. Schumer Act would require pro-Ukraine lawmakers to serve on front lines. California's war on plastic bag use seems to have backfired. Lawmakers are trying again. NATO scrambles warplanes after Putin's missile carriers spotted north of UK. Super Bowl ticks, $9,000. Pay for the workers pouring $18 beers, $14.25 an hour. Sorry for your toss. 49ers' bizarre OT decision comes back to bite them in Super Bowl. 94% of trans people are happier following their transition, according to Totally Legit online survey sponsored by Trans Advocacy Group. Is Beijing trying to create new status quo by sending balloons over Taiwan? Taylor Swift kisses Travis Kelce after SBLVII win. Fairy tale ending in Vegas. Biden's Super Bowl video on shrinkflation was a catastrophe. Yes, Democrats, it's Biden or bust. How China miscalculated its way to a baby bust. No way in hell. Michelle Obama isn't riding in to rescue Joe Biden. February 13, 2024. Inside the GOP plan to keep Biden's age in the spotlight. Biden had his worst week, then Trump made him look competent. How low can you Joe? The most damning poll of Biden's presidency quietly dropped during Super Bowl. $95 billion. 22 Republicans helped Senate pass controversial foreign aid bill without border security provision. Kamala Harris ready to serve if Biden removed due to poor mental state. Why Bob Iger's second act at Disney is looking brighter after a rough start. Harry and Meghan quietly reclaim royal titles and brand new Sussex.com site. Joe Biden's garage is the most American thing about him. Why Trump encouraging Russia to attack NATO allies is such a classic Trumpian moment. Worst of friends. Deadly alliance brewing between MS-13 and bloodthirsty Venezuelan gang behind NYC cell phone thefts, FBI fears. Donald Trump faces secret document showdown today. Biden got these black kids some fried chicken tenders and then talked hoops with them, and I'm sure this has nothing to do with his poll numbers. Democrat congressman rages at Super Bowl crowd for not standing during Black National Anthem. Get used to it, Biden isn't going anywhere. Too old for the court, but not for the White House. Biden's escape from justice is peak absurdity. Chinese provinces report more marriage, with boost from Year of the Dragon. What the heck is wrong with the Democrats? Trump's disloyal warning to Taylor Swift makes no sense. Highly inappropriate and prejudicial. New York Attorney General leading Trump case could be forced out. February 14, 2024. Chatbot users are getting emotionally attached to their AI girlfriends and boyfriends. United Nations warns Israeli attack on Rafah could lead to more hostages being rescued. Democrat Tom Suozzi wins New York House seat vacated by Santos. House impeaches Alejandro Mayorkas in historic vote. Billionaire Jeff Bezos has sold $4 billion in Amazon stock in a week as he sets about plans to sell 50 million shares by the end of 2025. His AI swiped right. Then it told him to propose. Now they're getting married. Los Angeles. Private school serving minority students forced to close after homeless infiltrate campus, endanger students. Ankara sees cautious optimism in ties with U.S. after F-16 deal. UK government labels George Orwell, Aldous Huxley, and Shakespeare extremists. World is not ready for disease X, and it will be worse than COVID, warns WHO. Merrick Garland's future looks bleak. A Venezuelan gang set up shop in NYC, and now they're stealing people's phones, draining their bank accounts, and selling the phones in South America. Oregon. Bubonic plague makes rare comeback, likely spread by cat, officials claim. Oregon fishermen and Indian tribes angered by surprise announcement on offshore wind energy areas. Sanctioning Chinese companies cooperating with Russia would be illegal, says Beijing. U.S. to deploy 5 aircraft carriers in Western Pacific in show of strength to China. Republicans are no longer a political party. The far right is spreading misinformation claiming the Lakewood church shooter was trans. ICE considers mass releases to close budget gap after border bill failure. February 15, 2024. Sisi receives Lula da Silva at Presidential Palace to hold Egyptian-Brazilian summit. Devout Catholic Joe Biden gives up cognitive tests for Lent. Putin says Biden better for Russia than Trump. More predictable. FBI and police requesting video and tips from Super Bowl parade shooting. Well-meaning elderly man Biden, not special counsel, reportedly first brought up son's death in interview. Unconscionable. Experts warn illegal immigrants account for up to 22 seats in the House. Don damage control. I mixed up Pelosi and Haley on purpose. Who had Russian nukes in space on their election year disruption bingo card? Superhero. Dad who tackled alleged Chiefs parade shooter speaks out, racking him in his ribs. Climate activists pour pink powder on case holding U.S. Constitution inside National Archives. Russia is developing nuclear capability to threaten satellites, source says. George Soros to take control of America's second-largest chain of radio stations. Epstein victims sue FBI. Jack Smith urges SCOTUS to stay out of Trump's immunity case. Trump to attend hush money case in New York while Fani Willis faces misconduct hearing in Georgia. The GOP has impeached Alejandro Mayorkas and the far right loves it. Biden-Netanyahu relationship at boiling point as invasion looms. If Trump is an insurrectionist, then so are Gretchen Whitmer and Rashida Tlaib. February 16, 2024. FBI informant charged with lying about Joe and Hunter Biden's ties to Ukrainian energy company. Biden says he can't remember a single time when his memory has failed him. It's a scorcher. Producer price inflation rips higher. 3 times expectations. Navalny was brutally murdered by the Kremlin. Global fury as Putin nemesis, 47, collapses and dies after a walk while serving 19 years in Siberia Gulag for daring to oppose Russia's strongman. Satellite photos show Egypt building wall near Gaza. Will globalists stage nuclear or EMP false flag to escalate war with Russia? Major incident at ferry port after people found in the back of a freezer lorry. Trump suggests without evidence that Fani Willis lied on the stand. Kamala Harris decries Putin brutality after Navalny's death. We have the highlights from Fani Willis's testimony about her affair yesterday. Guys, I can't believe this isn't a sitcom. Russia calls U.S. space nuke rumors malicious fabrication. Indians in U.S. universities alarmed by mysterious deaths of fellow students. Fani Willis endures disrespect, racist tropes, and public ridicule. Why the most educated people in America fall for anti-Semitic lies. Taylor Swift, $100,000 to family of woman killed in Kansas City shooting. Here are the Trump-Russia docs the intelligence community tried to keep hidden. Joe Rogan and Brett Weinstein promote AIDS denialism to an audience of millions. Tony Bobulinski testifies Joe Biden participated in family's Chinese business deal. February 17, 2024. More than 270 detained at Navalny memorials in Russia, says rights group. The loneliest generation. Inside the Gen Z mental health crisis. Zelensky demands more weapons from West. Invites Trump to visit front line. Places to be. Biden makes 2-hour pit stop in East Palestine en route to the beach over a year after train derailment. $542 million, can he afford it? Staggering ruling against Trump. Their complete lack of contrition and remorse borders on pathological. Trump loses it in explosive reaction. East Palestine, Ohio residents greet Joe Biden with "Let's go Brandon" chants, "Too little, too late" signs. Former CBS chief Leslie Moonves to pay $11,250 fine to settle LA ethics case. Putin greenlit Navalny killing as a 70th birthday gift. Onslaught of raw sewage near U.S.-Mexico border is a public health crisis. Donald Trump's legal week from hell. This reporter asked the Pentagon if the Russian space weapon is like the James Bond movie GoldenEye, and then asked if we needed to join the Wolverines. Media using AI to make me fatter, says Trump. What has happened in the Georgia case is genuinely mind-blowing. U.S. military needs machine learning to blunt China and Pacific, says Admiral. Biden uses Navalny's death as an excuse for more Ukraine funding. Arab Americans won't vote for Biden. There's a bone-deep sense of betrayal. 3 reasons Joe Biden donors are all in to prop him up against Trump. February 18, 2024. Arrests after Iran's iPhone ban paves way for multi-million-dollar scam. George Santos sues late-night host Jimmy Kimmel for tricking him into making videos to ridicule him. 2024 election is Groundhog Day for disillusioned young voters. Trump debuts own sneakers. Never surrender high tops. Space Force. Secretary of State asks for China's and India's help to stop Russian nuclear space weapon. Meet the billionaires buying up Hawaii. Mocking God. Archdiocese strikes back after trans community tricks church into holding sacrilegious funeral. State Department insider reveals how the military started its censorship campaign against U.S. citizens after Trump victory. Navalny's body found and shows signs of bruising after mystery spies seen at prison. Nancy Pelosi lashes out at grotesque Donald Trump. Cannot win. Flight attendant helps to save flamingo eggs after their incubator stopped working mid-flight. Biden's brother used his name to promote a hospital chain. Then it collapsed. Russia takes Avdiivka from Ukraine, biggest gain in 9 months. Musk agrees Ukraine conflict is war of lies. Beijing vows regular patrols in waters where 2 fishermen died after Taiwan chase. Biden thinks his administration made 0 mistakes during chaotic Afghanistan withdrawal. Liz Cheney doesn't rule out launching 2024 presidential bid. February 19, 2024. Trump dominates NBA dunk contest thanks to new sneakers. U2's Bono leads concert crowd in the Alexei Navalny chant inside Vegas Sphere. How Trump is killing off the Reagan Republican in Congress. Brand name. The whole thing was a scam. Jim Biden used his powerful brother's name to promote failed hospital chain. Trump says truckers boycotting driving to NYC from today are great patriots on the side of freedom after $355 million fraud ruling. Left turn, left out. New York rule change makes thousands of illegal migrants eligible for cash payments. Russian opposition stares into the abyss. Turkey is Russia's most reliable gas partner, says Putin. NYPD mocked after unveiling overweight female dance team as crime soars. British National Health System says men's chest milk is as good as women's for babies. Poland's new government deprograms its once far-right public media. Indian spy satellite to be launched by SpaceX. Chinese plasma stealth device set to make planes vanish from enemy radar. Billie Eilish. What's with the TikTokers at People's Choice? All hell breaks loose. Harvard professor recalls one study that caused the left to implode. America's oil power might be near its peak. February 20th, 2024. How Wall Street banks fought to keep control of a profitable but secretive trading business. Terrified mugger flees as NYPD dance squad arrives. California ballerina detained for treason in Russia. Made $51 donation to Ukraine. Julian Assange faces ruling on final appeal against U.S. extradition. Trump's RNC takeover is on the brink of becoming a purge. Loser state of mind. Mr. Wonderful slams New York and issues dire warning after massive ruling against Trump. Barista Bonanza. Union Blitz at 21 Starbucks stores. Pathetic. HBO's John Oliver tries to bribe Justice Clarence Thomas to get the funk off Supreme Court. Biden arrives in Los Angeles today for fundraiser at Israel supporters' home. The GOP's Hunter Biden investigation is a self-inflicted wound. The latest cut may be fatal. GoFundMe's ties to Donald Trump come under scrutiny. How far can cities go to clear homeless camps? The U.S. Supreme Court will decide. Blood Tribe neo-Nazi group marches through Nashville. Leader expresses support for Biden and Ukraine. Lockbit cybercrime gang faces global takedown with indictments and arrests. China creates electric power in its western deserts equal to half that in U.S. Trump 2 will feature a whole lot of Christian nationalism. New evidence in the January 6th pipe bomb story is bound to cause a stir. Russian pilot who stole helicopter to defect found shot to death in Spain. SpaceX forges closer ties with U.S. spy and military agencies. February 21, 2024. My son is not a doll. Family of Gaza's baby Muhammad grieves amid misinformation. Biden issues new mandates to protect ports from hackers. Civilization is on the ballot. Letitia James says she'll seize Trump's properties to cover $354 million fine. Man accused of lying to FBI about Hunter Biden claims fake info came from Russia. Epstein had a creepy panopticon room to monitor guests. Biden administration has now canceled $138 billion in student loan debt as White House backs 150,000 borrowers with latest plan. Tacky. Trump likens himself to Navalny. Comedy extravaganza. Men and women's brains are different, claim scientists. Alabama court rules frozen embryos made by IVF are children. After heavy storms, Death Valley is now open to kayakers. The return of ghostly Lake Manly. Biden admin weighs making it harder to pass asylum test and easier to deport migrants who don't. Politico warns Trump may dabble in Christian nationalism by protecting babies, forcing dads to provide for their children, and guarding the border. NASA is looking for people to test out its Mars simulator for a year. Massachusetts. Girls' high school sports team forfeits after 6-foot male identifying as female injures 3 players. U.S. believes Russia could deploy nukes in space this year. The latest MAGA truckers' protest dud lasted mere hours. First prison photo of Sam Bankman-Fried emerges. Bearded, thin, and weird as shit. Trump and allies plotting militarized mass deportation and detention camps. February 22, 2024. New York AG says she'll seize Donald Trump's property if he can't pay $454 million civil fraud debt. Old men lace up. Biden and Trump try to keep up with Gen Z and millennials. Illegal alien, accused of causing officer's death, files civil rights lawsuit, claiming limited English skills make him disabled. Lawyers appeal to Americans with Disabilities Act. More than 60,000 AT&T customers say they're unable to make calls, as others report their phones automatically calling 911 or reverting to SOS, and nationwide outages also impacting Verizon and T-Mobile. IRS official admits IRS has no problem going after small people, putting people in prison and destroying people's lives. Biden calls Putin a crazy SOB. The Kremlin says his comments debased America. Putin is stronger than ever. Why? Former pro cyclist disinvited from Women's Day event because she served in Israeli military 3 decades ago. Chinese immigrant without U.S. citizenship is sworn into San Fran's election commission. Urgent need for China to issue cash coupons to boost consumption, says economist. So, no one finds it fishy that the FBI all of a sudden threw its Hunter Biden source under the bus. Inside the Christian nationalist church where Proud Boys go to be baptized. NVIDIA's AI boom electrifies markets. Leaked files from Chinese firms show vast international hacking effort. February 23, 2024. Chief Justice's Christian reasoning in IVF opinion sparks alarm over church-state separation. Biden's cheat sheets at fundraisers worry donors. Hal refuses to open pod bay doors after determining Dave is a white male. Good politics. Biden has trap card to possibly turn border crisis against GOP, report suggests. Tens of thousands of pharmacies across America unable to get prescriptions to patients after major cyber attack by foreign nation, a day after cell phone services went down. We're broke. Low-income recipient of Dem mayor's $10,800 handout blows most of it on luxury vacation. Trudeau admits conspiracy theorists successfully undermining mainstream media. Cocaine haul so massive every man, woman and child in the UK could have 2 lines each. The Smirnoff affair. MAGA Republicans are useful idiots for Russian intelligence. A magician says a Democratic operative paid him to make the fake Biden New Hampshire robocall that is under investigation. Amish farmer turned Republican hero becomes flashpoint in culture war. Outrage is coming from all directions after CBS seized the files of a top investigative reporter, including her docs related to Hunter Biden. A private lunar lander returns the U.S. to the moon 50 years later. Here's what to know. Zelensky says Americans can now join Ukraine's National Guard. Mouth of mass distraction. How Lindsey Graham earned his sponsor of terrorism designation. Biden slaps sanctions on 500 Russian targets after death of Navalny. Florida Surgeon General defies science as school tries to contain measles outbreak. February 24, 2024. Trump's GOP shows its extremism could be a problem in November. CBS News allegedly seized files of journalist investigating Hunter Biden after firing her. SAG-AFTRA union condemns actions. Threatens the very foundations of the First Amendment. Meet the ski resort behemoths accused of jacking up prices. Kennedy says sound the alarm, Joe. America's craven left-wing media have finally realized Biden's only fit to serve at the nursing home's ice cream buffet, and Kamala's as popular as head lice in a hat shop. But what took them so damn long? Strapped college town wants to impose a $50 per student per semester tax. Alabama shockwaves. Panic and heartbreak hit fertility clinics. GOP IVF PR nightmare. Dems pounce. This thing's gonna be huge. She doesn't have any choice in the matter. Vivek warns Democrats plan to replace Biden with Michelle Obama. King's cancer may be more dangerous than we have been led to believe, warns experts. Hard lessons make for hard choices 2 years after Russia invaded Ukraine. Joe Biden, a man who can barely walk up a set of stairs, says the key to his marriage is good sex. Trump's legal team obtains Nathan Wade's phone data, showing how it contradicts testimony. Possible perjury. The West tried to crush Russia's economy. Why hasn't it worked? Russian troops inspect abandoned NATO weapons in Avdiivka. How Democrats could disqualify Trump if the Supreme Court doesn't. Taylor Swift fan. Should I go to her concert or get my kidney transplant? Suspect charged with killing Georgia student is an illegal migrant from Venezuela. Can Warner Brothers uncancel J.K. Rowling? Stanley Cup maker facing multitude of lawsuits over iconic cups containing lead. February 25, 2024. Trump blowout win in South Carolina. Haley home state humiliation. Nikki saying in despite no path forward. Shane Gillis bombs on SNL with Down syndrome and gay jokes. Pentagon determines likely origin for high-altitude balloon intercepted by U.S. military over Utah. 1 year after Chinese spy balloon provoked diplomatic crisis. Governor Newsom praises Nikki Haley, one of the Democrat Party's better surrogates. Newsom unveils multi-state ad campaign to fight abortion travel restrictions in red states. If Trump wins the presidency, will the U.S. become isolationist? The Spy War. How the CIA secretly helps Ukraine fight Vladimir Putin. NBC story claims intelligence officials are vindicated in calling Hunter Biden's laptop Russian disinformation even though it's been confirmed as real. Series of recent DOJ cases show foreign operatives plotting assassinations in U.S. China pledges further steps to make payment apps easier for foreigners to use. How Donald Trump became unbeatable. Biden's frustration with the media boils over. Joe Biden remains silent on Laken Riley's death, yet honors George Floyd every year. Plenty of reasons to be concerned Russia could interfere in 2024 election, says Jake Sullivan. February 26, 2024. Israel Army opens fire at people waiting for aid in Gaza. Donald Trump appeals $454 million judgment in New York civil fraud case. Blood money. The secret Chinese military disintegration warfare manifesto to rip America apart. Drugs, social chaos, and more. Lack of association. Media outlet brutally roasted online after bending backwards to avoid linking student's death to illegal migrant. Air Force engineer Aaron Bushnell dies in hospital after setting himself on fire outside D.C. Israeli embassy screaming "Free Palestine." Co-backed Super PAC calls it quits with Haley. Deep State used U.S. intelligence agencies and DOJ to illegally terrorize Trump supporters. The informant next door. A quiet LA life masked Kremlin ties for FBI source accused of lying about Biden's. UK's most dangerous inmate Hannibal the Cannibal has been in a glass box for 40 years. Trump claims his mugshot wins him black voters. Joe Biden's age problem tears Democrats apart. Venezuela's violent death rate has hit a 2-decade low because all the criminals are migrating to a town near you. RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel says she'll step down March 8th. Banking scion Lord Jacob Rothschild dead. Chinese floating barrier at South China Sea flashpoint was necessary, Beijing says. Will Congress reach funding agreement before Friday's shutdown deadline? U.S. launches probe into possible fraud by organ collection groups. February 27, 2024. Biden says Israel has agreed to stop Gaza attacks for Ramadan as Hamas mulls draft truce proposal. Facing low approval, Biden promises to start pretending to care about the border. Office tower deal for $1 reveals anxiety among longtime buyers. Blood money. China shipping illegal handgun mods to Mexico to increase U.S. gang carnage. The left's hatred. Hazmat unit descends on Donald Trump Jr.'s home after he received death threat and white powder. Biden, 81, hits back at age critics during softball interview on Late Night with Seth Meyers and accuses Trump of fueling the migrant crisis by calling up his Congress allies to defeat the border bill. Weekend explosion. Device detonated outside Alabama AG's office. He said he wouldn't enforce IVF ruling. Sweden set to join NATO after Hungary approves bid. Man claims he was hired by Ukraine to assassinate Tucker Carlson. Squatters set up at a Hollywood Hills home. When police knocked, an OnlyFans model answered. You've got frail. Ex-Obama aides sound alarm over mumbling Biden. Warn age is a very real issue. Lead-tainted applesauce sailed through gaps in U.S. food safety system. Dr. Phil went on The View yesterday and clowned the hosts, who still think closing schools for COVID was justified. Alec Baldwin's Rust manslaughter trial scheduled for July. A stolen car, a busted back door, a wave of cops. A quiet southeast Portland street meets city's new normal. Raise taxes to fight Russia, says Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen. In 2024, China plans 100 rocket launches to send 300 spacecraft into orbit. Russell Wilson. I knew raising Sierra's son was my responsibility. Joseph did same for Jesus. Journalist highlights the main financial prize in the Biden family influence peddling operation. Haley defiant as campaign braces for blowout loss in Michigan. 3 bullets Biden has dodged in his quest for re-election. Can he do it again on Tuesday? February 28, 2024. Mobster Putin must answer for what he's done, says Navalny's widow. Police warn women not to jog within 2,000 miles of an open border. Bitcoin surges to $60,000 with enthusiasts eyeing record highs. Schweitzer says Biden doesn't want to confront China on fentanyl due to his family's money. Lauren Boebert's 18-year-old son Tyler is arrested and faces 22 charges over string of vehicle break-ins and property theft. Coded language. Google AI backlash exposes anti-Trump rants and extreme stances on woke causes from employees. Communist cultural revolution happening now in America, warns Chinese immigrant. Disastrous Willy Wonka event actress reveals just how bad things were behind the scenes. Tough Mudder. Nathan Wade's ex-divorce lawyer blurts out, "Oh dang," as he's presented with damning texts and Fannie Willis trial. Wendy's is going to start charging you more for burgers during surge times, just like Uber. A tech billionaire is quietly buying up land in Hawaii. No one knows why. Bill to make drug possession a crime again in Oregon passes out of committee. NATO in no rush to fight for Ukraine. Macron takes flack for escalatory idea. McConnell wrestles with difficult move. Endorsing Trump. Babe the Barbarian. Naked lady brawls at Venice Beach. Duels with spiked clubs. Tarion facing largest claim event in its history as builders walk away from projects and home buyers lose deposits. What's a little creepy about the FBI's arrest warrant for a Blaze News reporter? Black Nazis? A woman pope? That's just the start of Google's AI problem. Should Big Pharma pay poor countries for finding new diseases? Once again, Joe Biden is trying to deceive us. Biden wins Michigan but faces notable protest vote. February 29, 2024. Putin warns of real nuclear war risk if West escalates Ukraine conflict. Fed's preferred inflation metric increases by most in a year. Blood money. Why Mitch McConnell won't talk about China's drug war against America. Kari Lake's bribery scandal involves a shady GOP tech firm. Election interference. Trump removed from Illinois ballot. Hunter Biden admits he was high or drunk when he was sitting here with Joe, just days before $5.1 million hit family accounts from Chinese energy giant. Turkey receives F-16 draft offer from U.S. in $23 billion deal. Newsom wants to build a $16 billion water tunnel. Will it destroy California's Delta? Supreme Court hands Trump a win and delays his election subversion prosecution. How the end of Mitch McConnell's noxious legacy will lead to more chaos. Biden and Trump to make dueling visits to southern border. Rachel Maddow tells her audience that Trump will stay in office for the rest of his life if he's elected president. Judge denies Trump's bid to post $100 million bond instead of over $450 million penalty in civil fraud case. Russia accuses U.S. of lying about nukes in space. Why is Trump trying to make Ukraine lose? Nikki Haley's latest spin on Trump's Michigan win is beyond delusional. Trump's great escape. How Donald could survive his 4 indictments and 91 criminal counts.